Yellowjacket baseball getting set to hit the road again. Landon, you guys had 7 straight games at home, and most recently against Western Oregon, a big series victory. You guys lost game 1 10-0, but responded strongly. A couple of big wins. You were behind the plate to catch Tanner Johnson and then Cody Cooper. Give us your perspective on that in these important games.
Yeah, a guy like Tanner, he's got unbelievable stuff. He can go out, get ahead early, and if he is able to get ahead early, he's somebody we can rely on to give us a shot late into the game. If we go get 3 or 4 runs, he's going to give us a shot. So he's been great for us all year. This past weekend was good for him. It's kind of a bounce back. He's been off and on, but this past weekend was great. Cody, he's more of a crafty guy. He's going to mix it up early with you. He has a great out pitch with his splitter. He's been solid all year, really pounding the zone, throwing strikes. He's another guy where, as a lineup, we're very confident that we can go get a couple runs and he's going to give us a shot late in the game.
And also, as a catcher, part of your job is to contest the base running game for opponents. And only one player in the GNAC has thrown out more runners than you. You've got 9 caught stealing this season. 2 of those came this weekend. One was on an inning-ending double play. Can you comment on, just take us through that process of when a guy's on and what's going through your mind and then throwing guys out?
Yeah, well, Coach Bishop's really harped on pitchers holding guys on. And so I think a lot of that's been our pitchers really doing a great job of holding guys on first, mixing times coming to the plate. And so it's my job, if they do hold the guy on, I've got to go get that guy. So I think it's a mix between our pitchers working really hard and my body feels great, I feel healthy, so yeah.
And talk about that one play in particular that ended the inning. It was a double play, so you caught a strikeout from Tanner, and then you threw the guy out. It was the 3rd inning in a row that you guys ended with a double play. Comment on how that shifts momentum.
Absolutely. I mean, when you are able to get to end an inning and move on when there are guys on base, it pumps the lineup up, coming up on offense, and that we can go get some runs back. And so defensively, that was a big part of our game this past weekend was getting those double plays and innings, and it really sparked our offense coming back.
2 outs, and Landon Peterson at the plate facing Elias Bedolla. The first pitch is swung on and grounded into the right field corner, and that's a base hit for Landon Peterson. 2 runs are going to score. Jackets lead it 5-1. The sophomore catcher comes through, rolls it past Snyder at first base, and with 2 outs, Landon Peterson has doubled MSUB's lead.
Yeah, so Matt had the AB right before that, and he really battled back and forth and kind of strung out their guy a little bit and was able to move them over. So I knew going up that he was going to try to get ahead of me early in the count. And so I just hunted the fastball early, went for it, and was able to square it up. And so that felt great.
And did you notice any mindset shift, specifically with Cody, a sense of relief with pressure? I mean, the 3-1 lead is still good, but now all of a sudden it's 5-1 and you're in the 8th inning.
You know, he honestly has enough moxie where I think if it was 1-0, 0-0 going into the 9th, he would be ready to go no matter what. But there is that sense of calm when it is pushed up to 5-1 that the team in general is very confident that he's going to go get it done.
And the Jackets have counted on you all season. You're just a sophomore, but you've been entrusted as the leader behind the plate, handling this pitching staff. You were part of the squad last year that won a championship. Can you comment on that experience and how that has helped you be a sophomore leader this year?
Absolutely. You know, I was able to catch behind Connor Holbrook, Trevor Nix, and seeing the way that they go about things really helped me coming into this year. And that feeling that we had in St. Martin's last year winning the GNAC, that's something I really want to strive for. Other guys on this team that were part of that as well know how important it is to get to that point. And so I think we have a good group of guys that understand what it's going to take. And going forward, I think we're going to play really good ball the rest of the year.
That game, the 10-0 game that we lost, we actually had a lot of really good at-bats. We just had a couple things that didn't go our way. We had a lot of good at-bats that just didn't end in a good result for us. But that's the thing about baseball. You can do everything right and still experience failure. So we were ready and excited for that second game. We knew we had to go out and get it, and we really came out with a lot of energy that game and did what we needed to do.
And you comment on the approach that Coach Bishop kind of gave you guys heading into that first game against Western Oregon. You wanted to drive the pitch count up. You did that against Brady Miller, made him throw 140 pitches into the sixth inning. Comment on you starting that in the leadoff spot.
I mean, ultimately that's my goal as a leadoff, is to see a lot of pitches, try and get all of his off speed, all of his fastballs out, just so that everyone can see everything and I can come back to the dugout and tell everybody what I saw. So my first at bat, I just went up there trying to see some pitches, took a couple strikes and battled and had a good at bat. But ultimately, it's not on me. We had a lot of good at bats as a team, and I was proud of us. We did our job. We accomplished our goal. It just didn't work out in our favor.
And you on the weekend had 5 walks, and you were also hit by a pitch, really doing your job getting on base in that top spot. Comment on what it's like being the leadoff hitter and knowing the guys behind you are going to get you around a score.
It's super nice and relieving. I mean, you look at the guys behind me. Durbin's been swinging extremely well. I got Luke, Cox, Sterney, all of those guys, Toon, directly behind me. So I know if I can get on base right away, it puts us in a good spot to score a run really early.
And talk about this team coming together this year after you won a title in the regular season last year. You're from Billings, a local kid on the team, and now you're a junior, one of the older leaders.
We have a lot of veterans on the team this year. We have an entirely senior infield. We have a lot of senior pitchers. Our bullpen's been really good, but at the same time, we've had a lot of younger kids step up. Jared Winslow has been extremely well in relief. Brandon Mason stepped up big this weekend and ate up an inning. Landon's been swinging it really well as well, and he's always an extremely good catcher behind the plate defensively, and Matt Dillon's been doing really well. So it's been an entire team effort to get where we are. It's not just our senior leaders, but it's been fun to watch.
You have a long bus ride ahead of you, 17 hours, but when you finally get on the bus sometime on Friday, the site will be where you guys claimed the title last year at St. Martin's University. Will you have memories of that dog pile behind the mound when you step onto the field, see it for the first time since?
It's definitely gonna be some reminiscent times. We'll be getting some nostalgia for sure. So it's going to be fun to go out there. I mean, obviously St. Martin's isn't a slouch. There's nobody in our conference that just is going to roll over and give us games. So we got to go out there game one and have a killer instinct ready to get that game one, because that can turn the tide and you can't sweep the series without getting that first game. So we're excited.
Make something happen. Got a good pitch to hit. And
The guys are still wearing you out behind me here, but
oh yeah, no, we know how to have fun.
you showed your personality a little bit in the post-game interviews. You guys were doing some behind-the-scenes stuff. I think you were showing off your swim stroke there, a little front stroke and back stroke. Can you comment on that? And the guys?
I mean, that's just our team as a whole. When we play loose and we play our game and have fun, like we can't be beat. It's really fun having this group of guys around, and I feel like everyone has just bonded entirely, and we're more of a family than a team.
Well, the series changed with the weather, so it ended up being just a 3-game series, which I don't know if that played into our advantage or their advantage, but it definitely changed the scope of the series. Everybody kind of compacted their pitching, and we saw 2 starters of theirs or 3 starters in the first 2 games. And we did the same thing, used some guys in relief maybe that we would have had to use to start a game. So it definitely changed the series. I was just really happy that we fought back. Obviously facing Miller in that first game, I thought we had a good plan, and we just couldn't get a big hit when we needed it. We had a few opportunities, and when you're facing a guy like that, you look at a 2-1, 3-2 type game, and it just got away from us in the middle innings. So, but guys bounced back quickly. We came out in the evening game, and we had good moments and bad moments, but ended up coming out on top of that one. And then on the last day, Coop threw another great game and just gave our offense an opportunity to relax. And we made some great defensive plays in that game. So it was definitely a team effort, and just happy that we could defend our home field.
Best start on the mound of the year for Cody Cooper. He picks up his 2nd career GNAC Pitcher of the Week award. I'll give you a chance now to just comment on him. He's 5-0 on the year. You've won all 6 of his starts.
Well, Cody's just really matured as a pitcher. As being a junior, last year he the last 5 or 6 starts he really struggled. He'd get himself into trouble, and then he'd make that one bad pitch. And it seemed that he'd throw 5 good innings and then have a 4 or 5 spot that he'd give up in the 6th, or maybe he'd even give up that 6 in the 2nd inning and then pitch clean the rest of the way. So he's just done a much better job of minimizing. And this weekend was a great example of that. They had the bases loaded and 1 down a couple times early in the game, and on one time I think he went strikeout pop up, and the other time he got a double play ground ball. And Western was really patient with him and had guys on base, regularly through the first 6 innings. And he just didn't make that big mistake. He just kept pitching his game and stayed with his off-speed stuff. And can't say much more about a guy than just he's just not willing to give in. So Cody was great, and he's been great all year. And we really look forward to seeing him continue to give us opportunities to win games.
Tanner Johnson, another guy who has that mindset, just refuses to give in, and he gave you a great start in Game 2 of the series, and he had been toiling a little bit, coming off a couple of rough outings. Comment on him bouncing back and really helping you guys beat Western Oregon in Game 2.
No doubt, and Tanner was a guy that last year had a really good year, and actually his worst 2 starts were against Western. So, you never know if that's going to play into a guy's psyche or not, but he came out kind of with his hair on fire. He was upset about his last 2 or 3 outings, and really wanted to redeem himself and go out, and he was himself. I think he had 10 strikeouts and got the slider going, and was in the strike zone all day, and just had one little bump in that middle inning, but still gave us a great opportunity to win the game. And it didn't show up as a W for him, but to me it really is. I mean, he kept us where we needed to be so that the offense could get going. And after a big loss like we had in that first game, I mean, the team really needed him. So that was a great job by him stepping up and giving us a good performance.
The man behind the scenes calling those pitches, Landon Peterson, a sophomore. He's done a great job handling the staff all year long, and if that's all your catcher gives you, you'd be happy with it. But last week he really stepped up at the plate, had several key hits. Comment on getting that offensive production from Landon.
Well, he's been working really hard just to on his approach, and just being a little bit more consistent with what he's trying to do, what his plan is at the plate. And it started to pay off for him. He hit a few balls hard the weekend previous against Concordia as well. And again with him, like, we look at him as a defender, a guy that can call a game. He runs our pitching staff, and even as a young guy, like, he's more than capable of doing that, as good as anyone defensively in my mind. So anything we get from him offensively is great, and what we really ask him is just to compete at the plate and give us good at bats, and not worry too much about whether he's getting hits or not. But hitting down in the order, he's gonna get some fastballs, and teams have I guess to me maybe taken him a little bit lightly and giving him pitches to hit, and he jumped on a pitch early in the count with 2 guys on in that last game, and it gave us enough breathing room. 3-1 to changing that game from 3-1 to 5-1 really gave our bullpen and gave Cody an opportunity just to go out there and just throw strikes and not worry about getting beat by one big swing.
Maybe the best guy at the plate in the series, senior Kyle Durbin. He had, of course, the walk-off walk at the bases loaded, then drew another bases-loaded walk the next day to give you guys the lead. He had a bunch of hits. I think he was 5 for 10, had a home run, a couple of doubles. Comment on him now becoming all of a sudden the second leading hitter on your team and really peaking now as a senior.
Yeah, Kyle's capable as a hitter. I mean, I think the biggest thing with him is the same as it is with every other hitter. I mean, if you take the pitches you should take and swing at the pitches you should swing at, he has a really good swing. He can pull the ball and go the other way. He can drive the ball all over the field. You saw that this weekend. He hit a couple balls really hard to right and right center, and his doubles came the opposite. One of them came the opposite way, and actually, of those 5 at-bats that he got out, several of those were well-hit balls, to the big part of the field. So, yeah, he just had a really good approach all weekend, and it's not a coincidence that he walked. He's not up there looking for a walk. I mean, he just disciplined guy, and he did a great job. We moved him into the 2 spot because we just have not been clicking offensively, and so that was kind of a game time decision before game 2, and he just jumped right in there and didn't miss a beat.
I had the same question for Myles, but your end destination this week in Lacey, Washington against St. Martin's. It's the site where you guys dogpiled last year, claimed the GNAC title. What memories, if any, will come to your mind when you get there, and how do you shift your focus this year towards competing against the Saints?
Well, we just talked about after the last game this weekend that we just have to remember that if we play well, we're good enough to beat everybody that we play, and if we play poorly, everybody that we play is good enough to beat us. And our league has proven that even more than usual this year. St. Martin's has beaten everybody, Concordia has beaten everybody, we've beaten everybody, and everybody's beaten us to this point as well. So it's just super competitive, and I think we have to just really stay short-sighted with it. Like when I think of St. Martin's, obviously that's a great memory, dogpiling and well documented, first championship in our program's history, and so that was an awesome day and an awesome weekend. But if I look back a year or two previous to that, I have some memories that aren't quite so Yellowjacket friendly either. So you just try not to. Obviously, you love to look back and look at the good memories, but this isn't really the time for that. We just have to really stay focused. St. Martin's is a young team, but they're athletic and they hit, and they've been pitching well as of late. So at their place they will definitely be tough, and we need to see our best baseball. We need to continue to kind of put the pieces together to play more complete series than we have. We've played some great games, but we haven't played a lot of complete series. So that, to me, that's really my goal for our group.